many are concerned that this year, for the first time, people made the decision based on edicts, based on bullying, to consider their fellow Americans to be enemies, to be criminals. There weren't charges filed per se, but America is divided, and they're divided artificially. I have here with me a man who has fought for this country. He fought to clean up Milwaukee. He fought to stop drug trafficking, and has been an avid speaker on the subject of religious freedom, on protection, standing up for our police officers as many turn their back on them, especially during the summer of rage. Sheriff David Clarke. His record speaks for himself. The biggest issue we face right now is that America doesn't feel like the land of the free anymore. What do you think?
We're not free anymore. And that's the kind of stuff that, people find distasteful of the government. We can't trust our government anymore.
A lot of people are in a situation where, as Christians, Romans 13, we're going to support the government, support the structure. Regular citizens just want to be good upstanding Americans, pay their taxes, give the Caesar what is Caesar's. But they're facing this right now, Sheriff. They can't trust their government.
No.
They think their government's actually trying to hurt them.
Yeah.
And you know what? Look, an example's frame. You heard about the couple in Alaska? The FBI showed up, rural Alaska, kicked in the door for showing up and waving a flag. Wants to carry sick.
This stuff's over the top. That's the tyranny that we talk about. I never would have thought we'd be here in this state today, in this country, but here we are. So the real question is, how do we get out of this? Like I said, unless it's bottom up. It's not going to be top down that's going to save us. The elected officials and our institutions are not functioning. The institutions we used to be able to use in these situations, institutions like courts, institutions like legislative bodies, school boards, they're not functioning right now. And so as a result, we have to find other means. Picketing, general strikes, protests, demonstrations, and even civil disobedience. Those are the things that worked in any change movement in this country. From the beginning of this country, the American Revolution was about that, right? Resistance to the crown. It had to be from the bottom up, and only the people were going to be able to take care of it. It happened in the Civil War to end slavery. Bottom up, American against American. 600,000 Americans died in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, to stop the spread of Nazism and communism and other wars. Somebody had to go fight for that. And it can't always be somebody else's job. Well, we'll let the police take care of it. Well, we'll let the military take care of it. Well, no, at some point, we have to take care of it. We have to step forward and play a role in this. It's not fun. It's sometimes it's going to cost people their lives. Soldiers do it, right? Police officers do it. Firefighters, it costs them their life, right? But it cost many people during the American Revolution and during the Civil War their lives too, right? And so we got to somehow generate that kind of energy again in this country, that this isn't going to be able to be done behind a computer screen, on Facebook, on Twitter, from a DC cocktail party. Some of the other things that I say are just not, we got to get out of our comfort zone. Those aren't effective ways of dealing with it. That's not how the American Revolution was won, right? The Boston Tea Party, now that was an insurrection, but that was serious, it was well planned, it was disciplined, and it was effective, right? We got to have that spirit again, and it's going to be hard because we've had the last 2 or 3 decades of pretty much not having to deal with any adversity in this country. All right, on 9/11, but that's one incident, right? We haven't had like a civil war. We haven't had world wars. We haven't had the Great Depression. I'm talking about a sustained period of time of dealing with hardship. We haven't had that in a while. We've gotten soft. And we think this could be done by somebody. Well, they'll figure it out. The politicians will figure it out. We got to have that Lexington and Concord moment once again. that's kind of where we're at. When the biggest hardship is your cell phone won't work, that's remarkable.
Well, sir, last question to you. Is there anything we can be praying for? Praying for your work. I know you're going around the country. You're having to deal with the TSA and a lot of the mandates and these things. You're written to speak this truth. Pray for you.
Yeah, please do. I wear my faith on my sleeve. I pray every day, but what are the things I pray for I pray for strength to be able to keep up this fight, because it's a grind, it really is, and sometimes it can get to be a burden. But I pray for understanding. I pray for patience, perseverance, empathy. Those are the things I pray for. And I think that if I stay focused on that in terms of my prayer, I'll be fine. So I ask others to do the same thing.
Thank you so much for your time.
Very welcome.
Bless you.
I see how